now.
Members of Congress have a lot on their plate this week ahead of the Easter recess. Democrats in the House and Senate will try and pass their budget resolutions, setting up a showdown with the White House over spending. There could be a debate over earmarks. There is a Friday deadline as well to finish work on a new farm bill and a host of other issues. The Majority Leader of the House, Maryland Democrat Steny, joins me now from Capitol Hill to sort out the week ahead. A busy week indeed. Thanks very much for the time. Appreciate it. And Leader Hoyer, I need to ask you first of all about the news coming from New York. This word, Eliot Spitzer allegedly involved in a prostitution ring. You have any immediate reaction to this news?
Well, of course, I don't know anything more than you know right now. I think it was a shocking news, and also in a very real way, a very sad news as well. And I don't really have to say about it than that.
If the facts bear out that indeed he has been linked to a prostitution ring, do you think it's going to be in Democrats' best interest, the state of New York's best interest, for him to step down?
Well, I think it'll be a very difficult situation, but I don't want to speculate on it because I don't know anything more. Very brief information that I've received and that the public now has, but clearly we haven't heard the last of this, and we'll have to see how it plays out.
All right, let's talk about issues here in Washington, particularly issues on the House floor this week. House set to consider a $3 trillion budget blueprint. Where do you see the biggest differences between what came out of the House Budget Committee, will come to the floor this week, and what the President submitted last February?
Well, the House Budget Committee clearly rejected some of the President's deep cuts in Medicare, in veterans' health, and law enforcement, in the community, and in the Centers for Disease Control. Healthcare generally took a very big hit, and invests in education, in growth and job creation, in law enforcement and assistance to our firefighters and our Homeland Security personnel. I think those are the major differences. In addition to that, our budget clearly balances by 2012. The President's budget, as you know, as our budget does not, contemplate the entire costs for Iraq for the coming year. The President doesn't speculate on what that will be. His budget proposal carries us only through probably January or February of next year. We've replicated that, again, because we don't know what the figures are, but we think that our budget reflects an honest effort. Grow jobs in America, make us competitive worldwide, to make sure that the education and health care of our people are attended to, while at the same time preserving investment in our national defense and national security. We believe it's a good budget. We believe it's going to pass. We believe it's an honest budget that will bring us balance.
Leader Hoyer, you know the Republicans are already looking at your budget and say what's key in this budget is you all anticipate the expiration of most of the Bush tax cuts in the future, and that what you're talking about in this budget and Democratic budgets to come are tax increases.
You know what the Republicans said in 2001, that they could, by some magic formula, provide that we could do more with less. They've spent at twice the rate of the Clinton administration over the last 6.5 years that they've been in charge. They continue to take the position that, notwithstanding the fact that they've had the largest budget deficits in history, that somehow they're the party of fiscal responsibility. The figures simply do not bear them out. And the President's assertion that we were going to balance the budget obviously was very, very badly wrong. This President has incurred over $1.5 trillion of deficit spending during his years as President, as opposed to President Clinton, his predecessor, who had a net surplus over 8 years of operation. So that when I hear Republicans tell us that our budget is not one that contemplates balance, A, that's wrong, and B, their budgets, yes, they want to continue the tax cuts for the wealthiest in America. We want to continue the tax cuts for working middle-income Americans, the marriage penalty. We want to make sure that doesn't occur. So we believe that working Americans deserve and are going to get from us tax relief, and we'll continue those in place, and we contemplate that in our budget.
There are some differences even between what you all are bringing to the floor and what Democrats in the Senate are bringing to the floor, including over in the Senate side, they're talking about a second stimulus bill and clear budget plan. Why isn't there one in the House, and do you see the two sides somehow reaching agreement on a second stimulus bill?
Frankly, in talking to economists and talking to the administration, Secretary Paulson, we are hopeful that the stimulus package that we came together and agreed with the administration, agreed in a bipartisan fashion, both the Senate and the House, that we passed, which will have its impact in the third quarter. That's July, August, and September of this year. That's when the impact of the stimulus package will occur. We want to see what happens with that. We also want to see what goes on with the economy over the next few months. But we certainly have not rejected, nor do we reject, the possibility of additional action being taken to prevent the economy from falling either further and trying to restore its vigor. Frankly, our belief, as you well know, because we've said it through the years, is that the economic program being pursued by the Bush administration has not been a good one, and we are reaping, I think, the results of that. But that does not mean, by any stretch of the imagination, we don't agree with the Senate that we need to be hard and ready to move. We're certainly looking at housing in particular.
Will we see another housing bill coming from Democrats, in particular Barney Frank's ideas about perhaps having the government start buying up some of these distressed mortgages?
Certainly the Finance Committee, which Barney Frank chairs, is looking at those options. We believe very strongly that while we don't want to bail out irresponsible lenders, we do want to make sure that we don't see numbers of people lose their homes, go into foreclosure, and further undermine the economy,
but that won't
as well as displacing families. And,
that won't come this week, though?
It's not going to come this week, no.
All right.
Barney Frank and his committee are working on that as we speak.
Really quickly on spending, will you see a moratorium on earmarks? Some Democrats talk about a one-year moratorium.
Well, we're certainly talking about what we're going to do with earmarks. Clearly, the Republicans, as you know, quadrupled the number of earmarks over the last